Hey there, I am here in my pantry and I want to tell you today about my pantry and why I think it's important for you to be stocked up and ready for emergencies such as hurricanes, which we get here in Southeast Georgia, tropical storms, power outages. We actually get those quite frequently around here just because the wind blows hard or transformer blows. And also because there's things that happen like the COVID lockdowns. You just never know when you'll need to have a prepped pantry. And so my husband's grandmother taught me the importance of keeping a pantry stocked. And it's not just for emergencies, it's also just so you're prepared to have a meal for your family ready. You might hear in my voice, I'm getting over the flu. It's been very convenient for me not being able to go to the grocery store and all to have stuff that I can just pull out and quickly make dinners for my family with. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and start my tour of the pantry. So here we have shelving, and it's used to hold my extra items. I have my cast iron, heavier things like my mixer, my bread machine, stuff that you may not want out on your counters just on display. Sorry, my hand got in the way there. Just trying to walk through. I'm not the best with technology here, but I'm trying. So the first thing you're going to see is that I have powdered milk. It's 2 pounds, and then I have these 2-pound containers or 32 ounces of, I have an oat milk. If you get in real close there, you can see I got it at Ollie's for 99¢. So whenever I see deals like that, especially on this Pacific organic brand, I like to stock up on things like that. I've got this other oat milk I got on a good deal online, and just some almond milk. These are just great substitutes whenever you need some sort of a liquid and maybe you're out of milk and you want to throw together a stew or have some milk for your cereal or your coffee and you're just out of regular milk. The next thing I have here are my stocks and broths. Those are very important. You will see next to here, I also have these little container bouillon cubes. Not only do they add extra flavor to your food, but also these are going to be essential if your power goes out. There's a hurricane, you have no power for a week, and you're needing more than just your water. These are going to provide you with the liquids that you need to make soups and stews and things to keep your family fed. And have dried beans and peas and lentils and things like that. Lentils I'm pretty stocked up on right now. Black beans are running super low. I have about I think 9 pounds of beans here total. So I'm actually running a little low. Navy beans are nice and stocked. Those are great for the Great Depression navy bean soup that I just made recently. You can find on my blog. I have things like vinegar. I recommend per month you have at least 1 gallon of vinegar. I use different types of vinegar, but this one's going to be good for canning and cleaning, things like that. And then we have canning salt. Over here I'm running super low on juice. I have 1 container of apple juice. I typically buy those when they are buy one get one free, or if I can get them for a good deal. But my son tends to go through those. Oh, my coffee's in the wrong spot. I have decaf coffee right here. I have a couple of things of decaf, regular coffee, and instant coffee. I always recommend you keep instant coffee. It's great to throw into things like if you're baking a cake and you just want to add that little bit of a coffee flavor, or if there's some kind of an emergency and you can't get your coffee maker going, instant coffee will help you. Just be ready for that. I have my larger honey is right there. Okay, so I have this honey. It's almost run out. It's crystallized. It's okay if it crystallizes, because you can actually heat that up and it'll go back to the right consistency. This one's almost empty. I have another one in my actual kitchen on hand. And let's see, we've got just some random stuff over here, extras that I don't necessarily think you have to keep in, but I have a raw organic meal replacement. We rarely ever drink this. It's good to throw into smoothies and stuff. or if you know you're sick and you're just needing like a meal replacement, or I guess some people would use it for like weight loss, working out, stuff like that. I think it's good to keep on hand for an emergency as an actual meal replacement. I have some chia seeds here. I like to make chia pudding once a week. It's got loads of iron in it, fiber. It's really good for you, chia seeds. I also use them for homeschool. We did a sprouting project where we got to see the grasses grow up, and the grasses are good for you to eat as well. You can juice them. But chia seeds also make a good egg replacement. We have tons of eggs because we have chickens, and they're laying pretty well. So I don't have any egg substitute on hand right now. But chia seeds are a good egg substitute if you happen to need them for that. So coming down, I have all of my nuts right here, different types of nuts. I have peanuts and almonds and sunflower seeds, cashews, pistachios. I just like to eat a handful of nuts every day just to give me that extra boost of vitamins and healthy fats and things like that. And I like to use them in baking. And it's also just a good source of protein if you have an emergency and maybe you don't have fresh meat available. You can use your beans, your legumes, different things like that to replace that protein. And then I have just some dried fruits in here. I have dried mangoes, dried cranberries, coconut shreds, things like that in here. Different little snacky items such as granola, crackers. These things really aren't that good for you, but they're good for an emergency. My kids actually just like to snack on them. So I have those. And I have, let's see, I have too many snacks, but actually it's the recommended amount for what you would need for like a month. So I have an assortment of just breakfast bars, granola bars, fig bars, things that you would just take on the go if you're needing a quick breakfast out the door. Not the healthiest breakfast, but it is something quick out the door, or a snack when you're going out. You're gonna be on a picnic or out doing sports or something, to have that. And then down here is our snack basket. It's all the random things. Some like mini muffins, things my daughter brings back from school that she doesn't eat, but she saves them. Let's see, I've got these chocolate covered candy coated peanuts. Those came free with one of my box things. And then I have just like assorted crackers and chips, Ritz crackers, saltines, things like that. They're actually, saltines and Ritz crackers are really good for if you're making a casserole and you want to top them, or making little miniature sandwiches, things like that. They actually help with meal replacement. Now we're going to go down here. I have all of my assorted condiments, ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard. I don't actually have any mayonnaise on my shelf. I am down to one container that I just opened. So actually we need to restock on that. Mustard, I stocked up on mustard back during the pandemic, and my mustard like went bad because we just don't use that much of it. So when you're stocking, make sure you're buying things that you actually need, want, or will use, and not just something because it's something popular like mustard. I have tons of hot sauce. My refrigerator is overflowing with hot sauce, and I have a pantry here full of different varieties of hot sauce. And that's because my husband's grandmother and uncle can and bottle. And so they created all of these hot sauces with this Salty Dog label on them. And so we have tons of those. So, you know, if there's an apocalypse, we're going to have lots of hot sauce. And I guess that's what we're surviving on. Down here, I have my oatmeal. I have more oatmeal than the recommended amount. I don't know why I stocked up on so much oatmeal. But it's good for oatmeal cookies. It's good for your heart. It's good for cholesterol. It's good for all the things. So I have it. And I love oatmeal, but my family doesn't eat it. So it's one of those things that I'm just letting dwindle down, because it's not really getting eaten as much as I want it to. But if there were an emergency, we could make oatmeal and oatmeal pancakes, and even throw oats into stew, and things like that. And then I have grits. My grits are running really low, and I have a backup container, but we actually go through grits quite frequently. Grits and chicken eggs. And then over here, I just have some of those little convenient things. They're not name brand Pop-Tarts. I don't like my kids to eat all of that stuff. So we get these that are organic, a little better for you, but probably still have too much sugar. And quick little overnight oats and flapjacks and things like that, just for on-the-go items. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes of cereal. The recommended for a family of 4 is 11 boxes. So we're good on cereal. We don't really actually eat it that frequently. Actually, I just opened this Raisin Bran, and I was actually super disappointed because not only did it not have very many raisins in it at all. Yes, they brag that they have one box, one of those little tiny boxes of raisins, but it's in the whole package, so there's barely any raisins in it. And actually, I had some cardboard processed into the flake, so I'm like scared to eat them now. It's not happening. I'm gonna come up here a little bit and show you. I've got potato flakes, good for, actually they're good for making mashed potatoes, but I don't use them for that all that frequently. I have a bread recipe that calls for potato flakes that I like to use those in, and they're just good like in an emergency if I did need to make some potatoes and didn't have potatoes on hand. If I come down here, you can see I have lots of potatoes on hand. Those are sweet potatoes right now from my garden, that are just sitting there right now. Let's see, I have gnocchi. We actually eat these probably once a week. I love to throw them into soups and saute them, make different things with that. I have quinoa because it's healthy, but no one likes to eat it. So, you know, I'm stocked on that. And I have my whole little bag of like quick rices. I got this coconut one for like $1.49, or actually this is the jasmine one. There was a coconut one that was pretty gross, but I have this. And anytime I find anything cheap, like $1.49 at Ollie's, I like to have it for an emergency. Rice, the recommended amount is around 17 to 20 pounds for a family of 4. And so I bought this 10-pound bag back here. Let's see if we can, 10-pound bag right there. So that's only good for like half a month. And then I have the brown rice. So we're kind of just like right where we need to be with rice right now. If I come up to more of my sides and grains and things like that, I have mac and cheese. I got the 4-pack like Sam's Club, or 5-pack actually, Sam's Club. My son's not liking yellow mac and cheese right now. He wants white mac and cheese. So those will get used eventually. Couscous, orzo, assorted pastas, spaghetti noodles, things like that. Then coming back up here, just below where we were with the broths, I have kind of like my taco night themed stuff going on over here. Taco seasonings, nacho cheese sauce, enchilada sauce, and some more like strawberry habanero jelly that my husband's grandma canned. We kind of have these stuffed here and there in the pantry. Coming down, I have the soups. We don't eat all that many soups, but they are good to have for an emergency. I do like this Rayo's chicken gnocchi soup. I find that it's kind of expensive to purchase these. They're good for an emergency, but I would rather make up big batches and eat those, freeze those, reuse those. So I try to get like organic, healthy autumn butternut squash organic soup here, or coconut curry sweet potato. Because if we are an emergency, this is what we're relying on. I at least want it to have like some redeemable health value to it. And coming over here, we are running a little low on the assorted canned vegetables. I have like mixed veggies, water chestnuts, artichokes, just things you would throw into random recipes, seasoned collard greens, just stuff like that. Now, if you come down here, it looks like I have a lot of vegetables. You're supposed to have like 48 cans for a family of 4 of assorted vegetables. So if you were to have like 2 cans of vegetables 7 nights a week, you would be going through 14 cans of vegetables. So actually, you really do want to stock up on something like this. So I've got the green beans and I've got the corn, sweet cream style corn, different types of vegetables. And probably what we go through the most are green beans. I had canned some green beans from my garden. Actually, these are pickled dilly beans and pickles and things like that. My first batch turned out way too salty, and we've already eaten up the ones that were good, hence the blank space here. So I'm going to work on perfecting that recipe. Hopefully next summer we'll have a lot more of the canned ones. Now coming down here, canned meats are very important to have. Chicken breast. I was always against like canned chicken. It just sounds weird to me. But this one is like minimally processed, no artificial ingredients, all natural, no MSG, none of that. And I get this from Sam's Club, and I tried it recently in a buffalo chicken recipe, and it was actually really good and tender. I was very surprised. I typically just stock my freezer with chicken, beef, things like that. But the advantage to having canned meat is that if your freezer goes out and you have only so many days to use up that meat before it goes bad, I mean, within a week, you're not going to have any meat unless you have it canned. So I would highly suggest to have assorted canned meats. I don't have a lot here. That's something I'm working on. I have salmon, I have tuna. I love to make salmon cakes with canned salmon. And coming on down here, I have the assorted fruits. So we've got peaches and pears and pumpkin puree. I love pumpkin puree. It's not just for pumpkin pie. It's good for sick dogs. A little bit of rice broth and pumpkin will help a dog get through an illness. And that was recommended by my vet. It's good for smoothies. It's good for pancakes. Pumpkin's great for all sorts of things and loaded in vitamins. So I definitely recommend that. I get this odds and ends brand online, and I get things like this when they're on sale because it's expensive to stock a pantry. Applesauce, another great thing to have on hand, and I have the individuals for the kids. Let's see if we got everything here. Nope. I did not talk about my peanut butter. Okay, so 1 jar of peanut butter per week, 4 jars per month for a family. I have honey roasted peanut butter here. Behind it, I have the creamy, and then I have the crunchy to meet all of my family's variety of taste. They're all open, so if we eat them up, you know, they're no longer good for an emergency. I actually need more of that. I have Nutella, sun butter, and almond butter. I found the cheapest almond butter at Walmart, and it's this Sam's Choice creamy almond butter, way cheaper than other places. And I have just some assorted jams, marmalades. Just like with the peanut butter, you want 1 can per month. And back here in the very back, I've got 2 jars left. I made the strawberry jam when Sam's Club had their huge containers for $4. I went ahead and got some of those and canned up like 12 cans of strawberry jam. And of course, I only have 2 left just from this summer. So obviously we're going through more than 1 per week. Coming on down here, I have the random black beans that don't belong with spaghetti sauce, but they're on this shelf because they're the larger jars. I canned up black beans and chickpeas. These are just good for a quick, like when you don't have time to slow cook the beans or overnight soak the beans, they're ready for you. And I've got just like Alfredo sauces, marinara, arrabbiata, that sort of thing. And down here, this is just all of my tomato products. I have Rotel, good for Mexican nights, spicier foods, homemade sauces. I have tomato sauce, good for like a quick spaghetti goulash, something like that. Tomato sauces, or tomato paste, sorry. I have, well, 5 of those, but I barely go through them because you only usually need like a tablespoon for a recipe. Let's see here. What else have I not shown you? My baking stuff, okay? So we have, I have a little bit of dark maple syrup left. I need to stock up more on that. I have oils. So with oils, you need at least 1 gallon per month for your family. I use, just for like an all-purpose for baking, making a cake, something like that, this vegetable oil. It's a Smart Balance blend. It's a little bit healthier than just like your straight up oil. But then I have this Sam's Club olive oil, and I buy these, and it looks like a lot, but I go through a lot. And in the back there, I also have coconut oil. I have a little olive oil, got on sale somewhere. Baking powders, baking sodas. If you only have 1 item, then you're practically already out when it comes to baking. So I have 2 baking sodas, 2 baking powders, because I actually bake a lot. I make our breads as much as I can, homemade cakes, just all the bread things. Panko. Let's see, I've got my assorted sugars over here. Brown sugar, cinnamon sugar, powdered sugar, coconut sugar. I just like to use a variety of different sugars that are called for in different recipes, and as well as flours. So I have my self-rising flour, good for things like biscuits, cornmeal for making homemade cornbread, coating fish for frying. I have wheat flour. I don't go through this as much, probably should use it more. All-purpose unbleached bread flour. This is the one I use a lot of, just because it's the best for my bread machine. And sugar. Obviously go through quite a bit of sugar with the homemade baking. And all-purpose flour. That's just, I'll use that in the bread maker, or just to like throw into, like if I'm making chicken dumplings or something like that. And then up here we have the assorted junks. So I have like some puddings and Girl Scout cookies that are still back there that we haven't eaten. Some seasonal like caramel cinnamon creams and little pumpkins for the fall. Assorted baking chocolate chips and candies. Just a basket full of candies. So that is about it in my pantry. On the very top, I keep kind of the extra snacks that I don't want the kids to get into, the chips and the crackers, and you know, if they have access to them, they'll eat them. And on the very top of here, I have just more storage. I have my bigger platters I use during the holidays, and paper products up there. I keep all of my paper towels. Seems like an excessive amount of paper towels, but I got a good deal at Sam's Club on them, so that's what I have. Sometimes you have an excess and sometimes you have not enough, as you just saw in my pantry. But I hope you enjoyed the tour. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, thanks.